Welcome to a Gallen of Questions. My name is Pat Gallen, and today we welcome in a guy who's been writing about the Phillies or talking about them in some way for like almost 2 decades now. He doesn't look that old, but I'm telling you, it's been a long time. He hosts a great podcast called Phillies Therapy with Matt Gelb, who you know, and he is just a wealth of baseball knowledge. Paul Boye is here in studio. Paul, so good to see you, my friend. How are you?
Man, Pat, well, I'm feeling a little bit older after that intro, but
sorry.
honestly, it's terrific to be here. Thank you. It has been a wild, yes, almost 2 decades. You and I go back to, what, 2010 with Phillies Nation?
Yeah,
It's
we go
just
way back, man.
Quite a ride.
Yeah,
Quite
usually
a ride.
you're a floating head that we see sometimes on Sports Zone. We're so grateful that you like to join us and talk about the Phillies. But that's why you're here, because the season is about to begin, and I wanted to hit you with a bunch of questions. You know how it works here. I have the can, right? And this can is filled with Phillies questions and or other things that are, you know, broadly Phillies related. And we'll try to scoot through like the next 20 minutes. That sound good to you?
I'm ready.
I'm really excited. Oh, you're the guest, so why don't you hit the
okay.
first one?
All right.
Tell me where we go here.
Here we go. All right. What is the biggest question mark that the Phillies need to answer this season? I think that's a really good one to get us started. That's a really good one to get us started. The biggest question mark for me, I think, revolves around what we're going to see out of Trea Turner.
Okay.
He is a really, really important part of this lineup, a lineup filled with stars, a team filled with stars, signed to be a cornerstone shortstop.
Sure.
And outside of the first half of last year, prior to his leg injury, haven't really seen a lot of that for long stretches at a time. Now, there's a lot to go with that, you know, new city, new environment, expanding your family, coming in, having that injury, which he thought was major at the time and thankfully avoided.
Yeah, sure.
You know, maybe that lives in your head if you think, you know, you're really setting yourself back. So hopefully with this offseason, things are quieter. Matt, actually, my co-host, has a story up about Trea today. You know, he's aware of it. He's aware that the conversation's coming about maybe he moves off the position sooner than we thought. There's a lot going on this year. Hopefully he can keep a clear head. Hopefully he can be the guy that we saw for the first half of last year and part of the playoffs, and be the guy that we all thought he was going to be when he was signed to be that shortstop.
To that monster $300 million contract. Numbers last year, he was a 3-WAR player, 21 homers, 62 RBIs. The counting stats, all pretty good. He's been working a lot on his defense, as Matt alluded to in that article, which I think a lot of people are looking at. Will he have to move to the outfield? There's actually another Trea Turner question in here, which I think we will get to. Let's see if we pull it out here. We will eventually, because it's in there. Okay. This it might be the first person you talk about. Give me your perfect Phillies lineup. That's the next question.
Perfect.
Does it start with Trea Turner at the top?
On opening day, yes.
Okay.
I'm not fully convinced that the best version doesn't have Kyle Schwarber still leading off.
All right.
I like what that experiment has yielded. It's unconventional.
Yeah, right.
You know, he's sort of redefining the spot in the order.
Yep.
I think he can hit anywhere. I don't have any problem moving him to third, fourth, wherever exactly he ends up being. You know, if you bat Turner lead off, you have Harper second, maybe you split him up with Boye or somebody like that third and Schwarber fourth. That could be fine. And maybe that helps Trea, like we were just talking about.
Sure.
I think in a perfect world, it works out with Trea at the top for
Yes.
more of the season, and having him up there, having Harper, who has stated he likes to bat third more frequently, but maybe, you know, hopefully he settles into the second spot.
Right.
And then everybody behind him, you know, if you have Nick Castellanos batting sixth in your order, that's still a really deep lineup.
Yeah.
Maybe you get the 23 version of Bryson Stott back, too, at the bottom of that order. It could be really deep. Mostly, I think it would be in service of Trea rather than getting more out of Schwarber, because I don't know what more you can get out of him than last year. So I'll stick with Trea at the top. Harper, split him up with Boye because he's so good with guys on base. Put Schwarber back there.
And then the bottom of the lineup in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, Nick fifth, Kepler, Stott, JT, probably JT, and then Stott.
And then Marsh somewhere in there, center field.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Like, I think that is going to be the route that Rob Thompson takes, is Turner at the top. There's just something so cool, though, about having this masher at the top of the lineup. It doesn't really make, like, baseball sense, but it's worked so well over these last few years. I would hate to see him not come up first, but I think it does warrant a look with Trea there. So we'll see. Okay, you're up.
Yeah.
Next.
All right.
We'll go back and forth.
All right. We're doing great with the segues. Will Kyle Schwarber and JT Realmuto
perfect.
be here long term?
Schwarber and Real Muto long term. Those are the two probably biggest long term question marks looking at the roster, right?
Yeah. They're both set to be free agents after this year. Schwarber obviously has been hugely important to this lineup for years, and JT, we've seen his offense slip a little bit over the years as he's gotten older, getting into his mid-30s. As a catcher, that's never a sweet spot. That's never ideal. You're probably going to see a little bit more aging from a guy like that. But the catching position league-wide is not great.
Yeah.
It's really not great. And so even though JT is slipping a little bit, this is still a guy who's head and shoulders still above most of the rest of the catchers in the league offensively. He's still got great pop times behind the plate and plays good defense. He's still athletic enough to run and steal you a couple bases. He's still shown that he has enough pop to get, probably about 15 home runs a year. This is a really valuable guy. And I would be hard-pressed to think that the Phillies could fill his spot easily if he goes elsewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know if that means they give him an extension before this year is over, but it would really be a challenge. Sort of like when they were faced with Aaron Nola's free agency, a year and a half ago. How do you replace those innings? Yeah. How do you fill those innings? It's not that easy. And JT's defense and offense combination, even though, again, yes, it has been slipping a little bit, still so much better at a really, really weak position. It would be a big problem if he left, honestly.
And his numbers last year, played in 99 games. He obviously dealt with the injury. Was a 3-WAR player in only 99 games. Still has some pop, 14 homers, 751 OPS, which those are offensive numbers. You would absolutely take that from him over the next couple of years, but he is 33, about to be 34. So some questions there. If you had to pick one of them to come back, if there was only the choice of one, who would it be?
It would probably be JT.
Yeah.
Again, nothing to leave. Schwarber, love Kyle. I think with the Phillies' eyes toward next offseason, when they think about it, they'll be more open to adding a cornerback. Think about the likes of Kyle Tucker being a free agent. Think about the likes of, probably not, but Vladimir Guerrero Jr. being a free agent. Like, they'll probably be a little more open to that. Again, catching market.
Really not great. Give me 2 names Phillies fans should know right now, but maybe don't. So we're talking, could be current roster, could be minors, coaching staff, management, anyone, organization-wide. 2 names Phillies fans should know that stand out to you.
On the field, I would go with Arun Escobar. He had a big home run over the weekend, which I think probably made some more people aware of him.
Yeah.
Real young guy. You're not going to see him in the majors this year or next year. But he started popping on prospect lists and prospect radars last year. Okay. And I remember reading some of these reports, Fangraphs and some other folks who are really in tune with the Philly system. I mean, like, I don't even know who this guy is. It was
not until this year did I know.
Yeah, Arun Escobar. He is very interesting. It's way too early to say if he's going to be on the level of an Aiden Miller or even a Justin Crawford, anybody like that. But the high ceiling is there. He needs some work. They'll bring him stateside soon. If he isn't already, I don't know what his assignment is going to be exactly. But look for him to put up some numbers. He is an offensive infielder. He played second base in a couple of games I saw him. He's going to be interesting.
Okay.
Off the field, I need to give a shout-out to my former Crashburn Alley blog mate, Corinne Landry, who is now the Director of Baseball Operations for the Phillies.
We had her on this show.
Yes.
Back in the summer,
She started out as an intern with the team and has climbed the ladder, climbed the ranks. I believe she was principally responsible for helping negotiate Christopher Sanchez's contract.
She did a great job there.
She's brilliant.
Yeah.
She is a terrific baseball mind, and she put in the work. She made herself known with really intelligent work, getting herself out there, climb the ladder, climb those rungs, and now she holds one of the key positions within the Phillies front office.
It's really cool.
It's inspiring to somebody like me who's always been on the outside to see, like, yes, that is something you can do. It is possible. It's not likely necessarily, but it's something that can happen. And she is entering, I think, her 4th year in that particular role now. She's terrific. She's great. She's always been a good friend. Shout out to Corinne and her wife. Hopefully, everybody's doing well. I didn't have a chance to check in with her down in Clearwater this past weekend, but I got to give her some love.
That's awesome. That's a great answer. I'm glad you went there. Corinne was great.
Yeah.
We got a chance to link up over last summer. Perfect answer. Now, give us another perfect answer here, Paul, will
Okay,
you?
here we go. All right. If you could only wear one Throwback Phillies jersey forever,
That's all you got.
Which player / jersey style would it be? It is a combo that only happened infrequently when he was actually playing, but it would be a maroon and powder blue Chase Utley.
Okay.
I have a home white Cole Hamels, so I need to cross Cole Hamels off the board. He was my favorite pitcher. But I held off on getting an Utley while he was playing here. I don't really know why. I don't know why. He is my favorite player of any kind of all time.
Sure.
He is somebody who, to me, embodies my golden age of watching this team.
Yeah.
Right into my early 20s when this team won the '08 World Series, all the way on through to when he was finally traded away to the Dodgers. He was a key part of my baseball watching life. He's on the Hall of Fame ballot, and his momentum these first 2 years make it look like he's going to get in, which is incredible. I never would have thought that with his career cut short by injury the way it was. He is really important to me personally. He's important to the franchise because he was a quote-unquote captain of that team as they won the World Series. He played with a style that everybody loved and everybody could relate to. And he hates the Mets. What more do you want?
And you don't have his jersey. So
I
is it
don't
time
have his
to, why
jersey.
don't you buy the damn jersey then,
Yeah,
Paul? My favorites, how about I always love they're ugly, but the maroon Saturday night specials. But
I don't think they're ugly, but go ahead.
I want the Andrew McCutchen jersey that he wore
Larry.
that one.
The Uncle Larry.
The one game. Yeah, Uncle Larry. Those are awesome. Or a Dutch Dalton, like 90, 91 Phillies. Like that.
That's a great one.
Okay, quickly. Season predictions. Who will lead the team in batting average?
Harper.
Who will lead the team in innings pitched?
Nola.
Games pitched from the bullpen?
Kirkering.
How many wins?
93.
Precise, concise, all of it.
I look at this team bringing it back and running it back not as a bad thing. I think some fans are getting a little on edge, a little nervous. They see the earlier playoff exits the last couple of years and think, well, why won't you change up something more significant?
Yeah.
I think building the whole team out of those games in response to those games it's a little too frantic. It's a little too nervous.
Okay.
This team won 95 games last year without a lot of production from center field offensively, right? Missing a bunch of guys to leg injuries and different injuries at time. Harper missed time, Turner missed time, Schwarber missed time, on and on. The pitching, the rotation is still
Looks
so
amazing.
good. Chris Sanchez could be a monster. He really could be. And if Jesus Luzardo is, as advertised, that's great. Plus, Andrew Painter is coming.
Right.
He is the best.
Well, don't go there yet because there's an Andrew Painter
Oh,
question in there.
okay,
But
all right.
I like where you're going with
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
So you're up next.
All right, let
Grab
me
one.
see if I pulled it. Let me see if I
Making
keep
really
our
good time here.
segue luck going. Oh, not quite. What will constitute a positive season for Trea Turner? Bonus, how much longer will he be at shortstop? A positive season would be an injury-free one to start.
Okay.
I am a little bit less concerned with his power numbers than I am his strikeout numbers.
Fair enough.
I
like
want
that,
to
yeah.
be able to see a little bit of difference in the way he approaches some of these counts and some of these pitches.
Not just wildly flailing at the first pitch. Yeah.
He has become the face of this idea that the entire Phillies lineup chases.
Yep.
Those low pitches, those away pitches, fair or not. He is the guy who is wearing it, I think even more so than Castellanos at this point. So what I would love to see is him work some deeper counts. Maybe he can do that from the leadoff spot. Maybe that's what helps spark that.
Sure.
And not end up with so many swinging strikeouts with balls low and out of the zone. He was absolutely handcuffed. I don't have the exact number in my mind, but he was absolutely handcuffed by lower pitches, even in the zone.
Yep.
Things that were lower last year. He was having a hard time squaring them up if he was even putting them in play.
Sure.
So I want to see, it may not really materialize until later in the year with his numbers. I just want to see him put together a better at-bats, especially with pitches low, even if they're in the zone.
Well, and I think we get on Trea because in LA or in Washington, he was not that kind of hitter. He
Yeah.
was making great contact, hitting 300, 320 one of those years. Nick Castellanos we're kind of used to. That is who he is, and he's been that way for a lot of his career, even if it's gotten, maybe progressively a little bit worse. Who needs to be the player on this current roster that goes above and beyond for success this year? So who's the one guy you're looking at? And we've said kind of Trea Turner would maybe be that guy, but who's got to take a leap from where they were a year ago for this team to maybe even take a larger step?
Yeah, I think of two guys. I think of Bryson Stott returning to form.
Good one.
If you get Bryson Stott from 2023 for a full year, you're in really good shape. And I think on the pitching side, the guy who has the most unrealized ceiling, right, the most room to really explode still is Orion Kirkland. I just said I think he's going to get the most games out of the pen. That may or may not be true, but even so, he has the best pure stuff in that bullpen, maybe second to Alvarado, but he can command his better than Alvarado.
Sure, yeah.
He is a guy who, if he puts it all together, he could be the Phillies version of Edwin Diaz or Craig Kimbrell.
Wow.
Old version.
Yeah.
Version. Somebody who has just that overpowering, overwhelming command of the zone with high 90s fastball, with a slider that nobody else in the sport throws. Basically, I mean, not literally, but you watch this thing on TV. It's a wiffle ball.
It's unreal.
He really could be a relief ace for this team. He could just put up what he did last year, and that would be totally fine.
Sure.
He was on par with Matt Strahm around the time he was named an All-Star, right?
Yep.
This is a guy who could take that leap and become one of the very best relievers in the sport.
I like that. All right, let's try. What do we got here? Maybe 5 more. So let's try to cruise through these. All right, would you rather? It's just a baseball question. Would you rather hit a home run in a World Series game, be the closer for the final out in a World Series game, or just watch a World Series game?
Well, I won't say the third one because, unfortunately, I was at the game where the Astros had the combined no-hitter.
Oh, really?
In 22. I was there for that. And that was not really enjoyable. I would go with hit a home run.
Okay.
Because when I was down in Clearwater, there's this alternate MLB network that they have on TVs down there, and they just show these random events from over the years. They showed the 2013 and 2014 home run derbies back to back.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. There's Yoenis Cespedes in these things, and he is just absolutely He's hitting upper tank things in Minnesota. It's just, I want to know what it feels like and what it looks like to be in a batter's box, make contact with that ball in the sweet spot, and then watch it fly away.
Right.
I think that would be the coolest experience. Just once.
Just one time.
Just one time. I'm not asking for much.
It's funny you mention that because when I was in San Diego during the 2022 NLCS, when Schwarber hit that home run 500 feet off Yu Darvish, I asked him, what does that feel like? And he said, it kind of just feels like nothing because it's so pure and he just crushes right through the ball. So I think I'm with you. I think it would be the home run. Closing, maybe a little too much anxiety for me in that scenario. All right, here's some Phillies therapy. What do you want to get off your chest about this team and franchise?
That this
the
currently,
couch is yours.
Yeah, this currently is the second golden age in this century of this team.
Yeah.
They haven't won a title yet. They haven't replicated what the, we'll call it 06 to 11 stretch did and accomplished. That they have the stars. They have comparable talent. These are really excellent baseball teams that we've had for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Maybe surprisingly good in 22, but about as expected in the last 2 years.
Sure.
And should be a 90-plus win team again this year and make it to the playoffs. This is a run that this franchise hasn't really been used to, And they had to go back down to the depths to really get back up here and get close to it. This is not something that happens all the time. And it would really help, I think, if everybody could take a breath and understand, if you're worried about this team or you're tired of this team, to understand that the talent that is here is pretty incredible. Might not be the Dodgers. Okay, I get that. But this is an excellent baseball team, and it won't be around forever. Guys are going to continue to age. Guys are going to leave in free agency, or there might be trades. Enjoy it while you have it. This should still be another regular season of really enjoyable, really good baseball out of this team.
I love that. You're dead on. Let's enjoy it while it's here. It's been a fun couple of seasons, even if it hasn't ended the way we all want it to. All right, over under 47 regular season innings for Andrew Painter.
Love this.
Over under 47 innings.
Love that. So you figure, roughly, back in the napkin math, if he's going 5 innings a start, that's, 9, 10 starts.
Yep.
Right? I like the over there.
Okay.
I like the over there. There's a combination of things, right? The Phillies currently have a solid 5-man rotation, but you don't know how many innings you're going to get out of Ranger, just because he's never pitched 170 or 175 innings in here.
Right.
And Jesus Luzardo is coming off of a back injury. He's looked pretty good so far this spring, but you don't know how long you're going to have him, or if he's going to need to be managed. The plan to get Painter ready by sometime in the midsummer looks really good to me.
Yes, it does.
I really feel like I understand it. This is a problem that typically takes care of itself, unfortunately, with guys sometimes getting hurt or moved around.
Yep.
I like him to make those 10 starts,
Okay.
Over the last 2-ish months. I think that's doable.
So we're going over.
I'm going over. I'm
like
thinking
that.
probably closer to 70.
Okay.
Would really be excellent. That's
That would
probably
be.
a little ideal.
Yeah.
And then we'll see how he gets used, hopefully in October, because I would
Postseason.
imagine he makes the postseason roster, probably as a reliever.
Yeah.
But we'll see. It's something to keep. I know that the question was regular season, but it'll be something to keep an eye on.
I think it's great the plan that they're utilizing for him. Paul Boye here for a Gallen of Questions. Thank you for coming in, my friend. This was a lot of fun, and it just goes by like that. We're done.
Really does. Thank you so much, Pat.
You got it, buddy.